Well, it seems I got tagged in a video. So today we're going to do a reply video for Sammy Prepper and Bushcraft from Australia on the top 10 items I would choose for an SHTF situation. Alright, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Today we're doing a reply video to Sammy Prepper and Bushcraft from Australia. I'm going to leave a link to the video below in the description. So if you guys want to sub to her, I'd really appreciate it. She's got a great channel. She's kind of just getting started out in prepping and bushcraft and everything. And she brings an interesting perspective, being from Australia, on some of the items she can get there and can't get there. And some of the items that are crazy expensive over there to us are dirt cheap. So anyway, she had this idea of 10 items that she would choose for an SHTF situation. So I kind of thought about it a little, and I've been really busy, so I didn't have a chance to do a video. And I came up with these 10 items. Some of them here are just representations of what they'd be. Some of them are the actual item. It all depends. But we're going to start off real simple here. We're going to start off with my knife, okay? Now I've chosen this here. This is my SHTF 36 from SHTF. Check that out. It's a very nice knife. I've used it quite a bit. It stays nice and sharp. It keeps an edge fairly well. And I'm really pleased with it. It's a nice, thick, heavy knife. Great for a striker surface there when you want to use a ferro rod. But the neat part about this, excuse me, is just that. This little pack comes with its own ferro rod and a rather rudimentary sharpener. I'd probably be using my work sharp, but that's not part of the 10 items. So I mean, for a true SHTF situation, if I could spit it out, I'd be bringing this, and that'd be good enough. So let's stick that back in there and put the knife away. And while we're doing that, I'm going to explain to you, my uses. I mean, gosh, you could cut rope, create weapons, open stuff up, open packages, whatever you're going to be doing out in the wild. Build shelter, chop down wood, make firewood, build a bow drill, if you have to. So a knife's a pretty handy thing to have. And that's where it's number one on my list, because really going out in the wilderness without a knife is, if you're looking to survive, it's not a good idea. And I am amazed at how much I've gotten into knives and used knives more, the more I've gotten into preparedness. I used to think it was an afterthought. What am I going to need a knife for? But you'd be amazed at what you need a knife for. All right, number 2, cordage. That's hiding underneath various items here. This again is a representation. I probably wouldn't choose black for the desert. I'd probably use my sand-colored paracord. And with that, I mean, you can hoist food to keep it away from wildlife. You can use it to build an emergency shelter. You can lash poles together, tent repair. You can use it for climbing, although that I wouldn't use for climbing. Fishing line, trap for hunting. There's just so many more items, so many more things you can do with that it's really, really helpful to have. Next up, water bottle and hydration system. In this case, you've seen this bottle before. It was on my little kit that I built up. It is a simple steel water bottle. I got this at the Goodwill store. I think it was 75 cents or 50 cents, I forget. Rather inexpensive, but it is a steel bottle, and it gives you some water to start out with. Out here in the desert, water is few and far between. You kind of have to know where to go for it. So that's why I'd start out with something like this. You sort of have some water to start out with, and then probably move into, finding another water source. All right. Some kind of signaling or light equipment. Now, if it was truly an SHTF situation and I had no other choice, my first choice would be a headlamp, not a flashlight. It allows you to work with your hands free. It's rather simple to use. This is a very inexpensive one. This is the one that was in my get home bag. And I would probably opt for the Bushnell that I have. I did a review on it, I think, last year or the year before. It's a 250 lumen headlamp. Really nice headlamp. This would work too. I'm not knocking this. I'm just saying that, maybe I'd choose a different one. But this one works fair enough for now. All right. That's number 4. Number 5. Compass and the knowledge to know how to use one. That's really important. A lot of people go out and buy a military compass and think, oh, if I ever get lost, I got my compass. I'll know how to find my way around. This is just a Kamenga. This is a phosphorus compass. It doesn't have the tritium inserts. When you charge it and the lights go out, it will glow for a pretty long time. But it's important to know how to use one. It's important to know how to line up your bearings and knowing where you're going and making sure your compass actually works, that it's pointing in the correct direction, so you don't end up going crazy, going around in circles. I suggest taking, even reading up online is better than nothing. But I suggest taking some kind of orienteering or class on it. We had a local class here that taught a lot of good information, stuff that I even didn't know about compasses. So it's handy to have, but if you really think you could never learn a compass, yeah, I guess I'd say take a GPS, a handheld unit. But what happens if it's a situation where there's no GPS satellites to tell you where to go? Very unlikely, but still. So it's good to have a way of getting around. A map, a compass, some kind of GPS something. So that's number 5. Number 6 is real simple. Some kind of shelter building material or a tent. Again, this is a representation. I have a much heavier one that I would use for it. But, in a pinch, this would work. This is just a blue tarp from Walmart. We used this when we had a roof leak, before we fixed the roof leak. And now it kind of sits there lonely. It doesn't have a purpose. So I used it for this video. But a small tent, a single-man tent, a way to make yourself a shelter. Without shelter, in the elements, you will die. So, real simple way to make a shelter out of this. I would probably pack a bigger one, a thicker one, and possibly 2, like I have in my get-home bag. One to cover the ground, so you don't end up losing all your heat into the ground, and one to cover over you. And that's where the paracord comes in handy. Make yourself a little tent with it. All right. Moving on to number 7, first aid kit. Again, a representation. I would not be lugging one of these through a post-apocalyptic world. This is actually my go kit, my first aid kit for ham radio when I do events. I keep everything stocked and rotated in it and yank it out whenever I need it, for responding to some kind of event or emergency. There's always those cuts and bruises, people involved in the event, if they're running, whatever. Stuff like that comes in handy. But some kind of kit. It would probably be along the lines of something built into the bag that I'm taking with my 10 items. Kind of like I did my get-home bag. The front pocket, the front whole section, and I have it over here. I'll bring it over real quickly if I don't make too much of a mess and noise. Move that out of the way. This whole front section here is first aid. Okay? That whole section there is first aid. It would be a very basic kit. It would have anything that I take regularly. An example, Aleve. I take Aleve when I hurt. It works. I don't have prescription medications. I'm pretty lucky with that, so I probably wouldn't need to take prescriptions with me. But if you do, make sure to remember them. All right, number 8, cook kit. You're going to need a cook kit. You're going to need something to cook your food with. Yeah, you could sit there with twigs and build yourself a little, triangle over a fire with rocks. I prefer this. It's a little bit easier. It gives you a way to boil water. In my cook kit, as I've shown you, I have a little stove. I have some of these bars. And this comes off the bottom, so I can have a little wood stove too. So my cook kit would go with me. Not a heavy item, not a huge item, and it's at least, when I'm thinking 10 items in an SHTF situation, I'm thinking more escape and evade type thing. I'm not going to be out here forever, or I'm going to find better material along the way, but I have to get from point A to point B and not be seen or not be attacked or God knows what. That's why I take that with me. It's a handy little thing to have when you don't feel like building a huge fire. You can go from there. Okay, number 9, weapon and ammo. This is where we're a little different here in America, Sammy. I would either take a handgun or a rifle. And I'll give you either an AR-15 or an AK or whatever, depending on my situation. If I'm bugging out in a environment like, say, where I am now at home, I'd probably take this as, me walking around in the hills with an AR-15 wouldn't really attract too much attention. If I'm, say, in the middle of Las Vegas on the Strip staying over for a weekend, you know, and the wife and I are having fun and something goes down, I'm not going to strap one of these on and walk around the Strip with it. That's where the handgun would come in handy. I'd make sure to have at least 2 or 3 magazines with it, and this one has been checked. By the way, if you didn't check it out, I'm going to do a video on this probably soon. This is the Browning High Power I refinished in another video. But something like this is concealable. Safe enough to stick in a concealable holster if you have a conceal permit, and it doesn't draw as much attention as a rifle. But when you're thinking some kind of SHTF situation, you definitely want something to protect yourself with. Now, lastly is going to be a little strange. You may think, well, you're going out to the woods in an SHTF, you know, why are you bringing food? Well, I'm bringing food, and again, representation, I probably wouldn't bring MREs. I might bring a stripped down MRE where I don't have all of the extra stuff in it, just the entree. I'm bringing food to sustain me until I find something to either trap or shoot to eat, you know. This is just to get me sustenance and some food in me to get me going. It's not a permanent supply. I'm not going to carry, you know, like 10 days worth of MREs. This is just something to get me going and keep me safe and keep me fed while I'm on the run. You know, I don't know what the SHTF situation is. Am I running from nuclear disaster and I know I have to get somewhere where I'll be safe, you know, where there's going to be food? Well, all right, fine. If I'm not, if I'm going up, say, up in the mountains to hide from some kind of disaster going on in my town, then yeah, that'll get me up there. That'll get me settled the first night. Then I can start planning out what I'm going to buy. Yeah, that's going to happen. What I'm going to hunt for, what I'm going to trap, and what I'm going to eat. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's a pretty simple, you know, representation of what I'd take, you know, 10 items for survival. Again, I am not by any means a survival expert. I have been doing this since probably about 1998. Been into preparedness. So for me, it's become more of a lifestyle now. But, you know, I'm not going to tell you what you need to take. This is just the things I'd take. And hope you enjoyed the video. If you think you found something better that you want to take with you, feel free to leave it in the comments. And please, if you can, make sure, and I want to get it right, that you subscribe to Sammy Prepper and Bushcraft from Australia. She's had a couple of different names, so I wanted to make sure I said it right. Like I said, I'll put the link to her video below. And thanks for joining us, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon. And of course, I do the whole video and forget to tag 3 people. So you get a view of my mountains in my backyard. I want you guys, I'm going to tag 3 people. I want you guys to do a video of the top 10 items that you would take in a SHTF situation. First person I'm going to tag is Purity White Cloud, because I know you'll do one. How about the Real Cobra Burnout? Let's see if you can do a video of 10 items you take in an SHTF situation. And the last one is my buddy in Las Vegas there, Grizzly Taco. So let's see you guys do a quick video, just 10 items you take in an SHTF situation, and keep this chain going. Talk to you guys later. Bye.